Hello.
Haribo.
Stay, Jonathan. Long time no see, man.
Yeah. Like, I know. Please accept my respects.
Parabéns, Hare Krishna.
Oh, reunion at the Breaking Trail podcast.
I know, it's got to be almost 2 years now, no?
What's that?
Feels like it's maybe almost 2 years.
Yeah, it has been. Christmas of 2019. There you go. Put on headphones, Jonathan.
I've run out of USB hookups, though. That's my problem. Hang on.
Oh. Unplug some of your biking plugs and put in some podcast plugs. Take off Strava and put in
There we go.
Breaking Trail.
All right, there we go. Let me just make sure the audio is going through the Yeti. Give me a second. Yeah, it is.
Can you hear me now? Good.
I can hear you better now. Yeah, for sure.
And just make sure, Jonathan, if we're chatting in the end, then do mute your microphone, because else it'll be
No problem.
it doesn't work with.
So I don't even know what we're talking about today.
I don't either.
Neither do I.
Well, and that's good. We all got the same plan.
Yeah.
Zero. All right.
Exactly. No, so I guess I had some idea. Maybe you could share a little bit about you. I wanted, for people to get to know some other people that have implemented this lifestyle and lived this lifestyle. And I'm always, maybe you don't know, Jonathan, but it appears like in my classes, not too seldom, I mentioned something about, I have this friend in Canada. He's a real estate broker. He's like really successful in that field, and he donates the money for the meditation centers, and he's also doing a lot of mountain biking. And because people look at me and they see, okay, he's a yoga teacher and he doesn't earn any money, and they think that's how it's got to be. So
I see.
To me, it's always nice to sort of introduce you as an example of someone who does, because it doesn't have to be that way, that you're living like me or living like Balakhilya is doing, traveling and teaching like this.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much you want me to reveal, but
Everything, mate. Everything.
yeah, I mean, I can get into numbers if you want. Like, I mean, I sold like.
No, you don't have to do that.
Okay.
No, don't worry about the numbers.
There's in the Bhagavatam, never tell anybody how much money you make.
Yeah. I wouldn't say that, but I could say that I sold 46 homes last year or something like that. But
that's all right.
Yeah.
Never mind, they were all dog houses. Homes for canines.
But I wear more. I have this sweater because it's actually we're getting into fall weather here, and it's kind of cold, and I like it. But if it's too much, I'll just put on my t-shirt.
No, I like it.
Well, that looks good. I rode the 160 kilometer Simcoe County Loop Trail on a fat bike in winter. You had that made?
So Simcoe County gives you these a blue t-shirt that says everything from here up. But then they threw this on, and we sent them some icebreaker long sleeves and they did it for free for us.
Oh, wow.
My friend Tiago really wanted this, so I said, okay, fine.
But wasn't that?
Yeah.
What was that the one that I was reading about you did? But wasn't that like 500 kilometers you did on a fat bike in winter?
No, this was 1 day, 160K, but the festive 500 was 500K on my fat bike in the forest in 4 days, in 4 days of ride time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
That's
5 days.
That's 100 miles.
This was 100 miles. Yeah.
That's impressive.
On a fatty. Yeah.
What's like? Why?
It was a challenge. It's a thing. Like, people do the Simcoe County Loop, but apparently we're the only two guys who did it on a fat bike in the winter. Most people do it on their gravel bikes in the summer.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess most people think like make it as easy as possible, and then you just get through it and you can brag about it.
I have a nut job friend, Tiago, who likes doing adventures. So and I try to tag along on some of his adventures when I can.
Mm.
But now that my back's finally, but a Balakhilya, I don't know if I told you if you know about this or if you tried this, but I have, you know me, I got a bad back, scoliosis. I got a dehydrated disc between my fourth and fifth lumbar vertebrae. My back was out completely for 2 months this year in early spring. And the only thing that's helped me, believe it or not, and whether you do Japa walking forward or backward, I've been walking backwards 45 minutes a day, and I've been running backwards up the hills as well. And it takes all the pressure off my low back, my knees. My knees were actually suffering from all the mountain biking, and one of my cranks defoiled, and I had no idea. So I was actually getting knee pain, unknowing that my crank was broken. Anyway,
what was broken?
My crank. So the carbon crank.
Oh, crank.
Yeah. So walking backward, and I have a helmet with a mirror. You can see where I'm going. Doesn't work. It works really good. And
I'd love to see this during Japa walk 45 minutes.
I actually posted a video on my Facebook. If you want to watch it, you can see it. I'm talking about it. And so I saw this Chinese doctor who took like 4 months to get an appointment. And he said, Jonathan, if you walk backwards 30 minutes a day, your back will never go out again. So I said, okay, I'll try it. Wow. So I've been doing it since August 8th. So it's been amazing.
Well, interestingly enough, every morning there's a hill that I do go up on my Japa walk, and I walk up backwards every day.
There you go.
Oh,
okay.
You do. Yeah. Wow, you guys are sharing some secrets here. I
didn't read your Facebook.
How long you been doing that? Backward walk?
I don't know, 3 months now.
Oh, okay, cool. That's amazing that we both kind of came into it. Interesting. Yeah, it's really helped my back and my knees. I mean, I just finished the Ontario Cup series. I'm actually I got series champion my first time racing, and I won my category. I got second place yesterday on yesterday's race, and it was the fourth and final race. And I would be scared to push as hard as I did if I wasn't walking backward. And it was really cool. So it's a time trial race, and you're waiting in line for like eight minutes because everybody starts every 30 seconds. Yeah. And I actually did Japa while I was waiting in that line. And my heart rate at the last races, when you're at the start gate, was 145. And because of the Japa, it came down to 119 in the start gate.
And how long is the circuit, or what do you do?
Yesterday was 25K. It was 600 meters elevation and 25K. It was just some serious climbing.
Wow.
Yeah. And I beat all my competitors that I wanted to beat. And there was one guy that was, he's next level, but I closed my gap to him. So that was cool.
Is it on road or trails or what?
All trail, 100% single track, and some double track to get to single track,
Yeah.
And I changed the front ring on my bike to 36 tooth oval by absolute black, by absolute black. And because on the double track because the bike came with 32, and I'm just spinning my gears on the double track because I'm going too quick, and on the downhills. So the 36 just makes it more aggressive the whole time you're biking it. I might even throw a 38 on, but we'll see.
Yeah, you got to be, the bigger the ring, the stronger you got to be.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it.
That's why I run a 26.
Okay. Yeah, the fat bike's got a 30 on it actually. But yeah, it came with a 30. They go lower on the fat bikes.
So
a 26. Okay.
So this is like a regionals competition?
Ontario, yeah, the provincial. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I just started this year, so I'm Master Sport A. Next year I'll move up to expert, and then I can choose to go to elite after that if I want to.
So
yeah.
So stay low, you can win. When you start going up in classes, then you start losing.
No, I'm actually forced to go up next year. Otherwise, I'd be a sandbagger, they call it apparently.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah, cool, nice, nice. Using that energy and all that, angst in the right way.
Yeah. And I hired a mountain bike coach. Yeah, angst in the right way, no doubt about it. And I hired a mountain bike coach, and I've been working with him for 8 weeks now. And yeah, I got a heart rate monitor. He's tracking all my stuff. I'm doing interval training. It's taking it pretty seriously. Yeah.
So I'm just wondering, Jonathan, like well, first of all, like how does your day look that you manage to fit all of this into your day, and where is like, what is the role of meditation in this, and how is that, like, how do you even manage time wise, and what do you do the rest of the day? Maybe you can tell us about your real estate.
Yeah. I mean, I try to go to bed by 9:30. I find if I go to bed past 10 p.m., I feel terrible the next day. I have low energy. I don't feel good. And for my body, for whatever reason, my body for some reason only needs 6.5, 7 hours sleep. And if I sleep longer than that, like 8 hours, 9 hours, let's say, I'll feel worse that day because I slept too long or something. It makes no sense, but
no, but
yeah,
I've experienced the same. I know what you mean.
Yeah. So then I start my day with Japa and my backwards walk, and then I've been snorkeling every morning for 15 minutes, looking at. Well, I'm thankfully, because of COVID, we actually moved to our cottage just over a year ago, which is very close to Toronto. We're very lucky the proximity, so I can operate Toronto business, still living where we are here in the Port Perry Uxbridge area, and because I like, through meditation, I've learned about, the modes and mode of goodness and mode of passion and ignorance, and I really like the mode of goodness in the morning. It's just so special, and I make a point to observe the sunrise, and I have a cyst in my pineal gland, and I was told that if you look at the sunrise for the first, within the first minute of it rising, the first 10 minutes of it rising, it can actually dampen, like reduce the size of the cyst in my pineal gland. So I've been doing sun gazing in the morning for 10 minutes. And then, so Japa walk, backward, do the sun gazing. And then, depending on the timing of the year and all that, but then I've been doing a 15-minute snorkel. I'm actually making relationships with these perch and bass and sunfish. I'm actually almost touching the fin of the bass now, and they're kind of hanging around me. And the painter turtles and the snapping turtles, like they're so adorable. And I feel very fortunate to be able to do that snorkel in the morning. And then I kind of do a little run sprint up my private road, which is 10-degree pitch. And then just part of like the kind of training. And then I hit the desk hard and work, and we do my wife does a morning program with Raja. It's getting a little more regimented now at a certain time at 7:30, since our son Raja is in virtual school with our district, our school board. So he's been doing French immersion virtual school. So Gwen's been managing him on that. And then we've just been joining all the meditation gatherings on the Friday nights and others. And yeah, and then Gwen makes, treats for all my clients. Whenever I see clients, I'm always bringing treats, and that's kind of her thing. And clients really appreciate that. And yeah, I have a full-time assistant who also does meditation, and so she does a lot of the stuff that I don't want to do. So it allows me time to do meditation and things and biking and things that I like to do. And yeah.
So how did you guys meet each other? Like, where's this
Who?
Well, you guys, you and Balakhilya. I don't know that story. I don't like.
Okay. Well, I came to, so back in 2006, in June 2006, May or June 2006, I picked up a flyer at a meditation shop, And prior to that, I was already doing hatha yoga, and I had some yoga DVDs, Wailana yoga DVDs, and I was doing some chanting, a little bit of chanting at the end of her stuff, and then I came to a meditation class after picking up that flyer. It was actually Ron, who's one of the people who meditate over here. He gave me the class, and I remember that day because I was just I was actually at a nude beach in Toronto on the island with a girl doing yoga. And I went to the class. I went to Ron's meditation class wearing, I think I was wearing a Speedo, and which is just ridiculous. And I remember telling Ron during this class, I said, "Wow, I really love this. This is so amazing. I'm going to do this." And he kind of rolled his eyes a bit, like, "Okay," because I said, "I'll see you soon. I'm going to come." And he kind of rolled his eyes. "Yeah, okay, yeah, sure." And then and then the woman that I was with, she didn't like it, and we didn't talk to each other after that day. She lost interest. Anyway, so I went to the following Sunday gathering, which was at Super Sprouts at the time, and I had just an amazing time, amazing vegetarian food, and really got into the kirtan, the group kirtan. And I was just blown away. And then I went to the follow-up class at Madhavendra's home and learned a little bit more about the philosophy and heard a lecture, and it was really special. And then I went to literally, I think the following week I met Balakhilya. I went to the 2-week retreat in August at the first 2 weeks of August in 2006, and that's when I met Balakhilya at the retreat. And then I think Balakhilya maybe remembers that retreat. It was in Flesherton. It was up at it was a little lake, and it was a nice little setting, actually.
Yeah, it was a great place.
Yeah.
Great retreat.
Yeah. And that's where I met Balakhilya, and I heard, and after those 2 weeks of being at that retreat, hearing the philosophy, learning about reincarnation and my identity, and it changed my life completely. And in Toronto at the time, they had a house for guys who were serious about the process. So I moved into that house right after the retreat, and never looked back.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Amazing.
The rest is history.
Yeah. Like changed, just remarkable. And I actually met my wife. So prior to getting my coming to that first class, I was actually hosting nightclubs for 80 hours a week. I was hosting 6 nightclubs, and then I slowed that down and got taking the real estate license, getting my real estate license and taking the courses. And I did kind of a 180 essentially because of meditation. Like I was imagining being a nightclub promoter, host of a nightclub, and after hours and all that, and then coming to a 2-week retreat of meditation, and then completely changing my life. And I remember I went to the vegetarian food fair in September. I think it was the second weekend in September 2006, and I saw this iridologist, Irene, and she said, "Jonathan, she through your eyes, she tells you what all your current issues and your inherited weaknesses." It's called iridology. Anyway, so I had this little intro with her, and she said, "Jonathan, I've never seen so many signs of toxicity in someone's body at such a young age. I had heart, lungs, liver, you name it, everything was toast." And so through chanting, and I was doing liver flushes and kidney flushes and lung flushes. I did Dr. Hulda Clark's liver gallbladder flush. I passed, I don't know, hundreds of gallbladder stones and so on. And I saw her again in January, and she said, "I've never seen such a recovery in someone in such a short period of time." And you're like, she was blown away. And to this day, I still see her on a yearly basis for a checkup. And but I attribute that to chanting, and just because of chanting, changing my entire lifestyle completely. completely. A to Z, you know?
And what about your wife? You never finished that
Yeah,
part.
so that's what I was getting to. So because so I actually met Gwen, my wife, when I was nightclub uh, hosting and promoting. We met at, I don't know, 3, 4 in the morning and at some nightclub. And I was always really attracted to her because she was a really mode of goodness girl. I remember we went to a Sunday morning Cherry Beach party, which is kind of like a outdoor party at a beach in Toronto. And they put it on for free. There's no charge. And at the end of the party, Gwen says, "Oh, I'm going to go help them tear down everything and help them. You know, they just gave us this great party." And I'm just like, "What? Why would you do that? Let's go." And she's like, "No, you're going to help me." I'm like, "Okay." So I go in there, help them tear down the whole thing. And I was just, but it's something I would never think of, you know, being more at the time, like just covered on that sense. I would never volunteer or anything like that, you know? And she was, you know, a vegetarian, and she was actually just getting out of the nightclub scene when I was just getting in at the time. But we always kept in touch. She went to Africa for Engineers Without Borders, and but we always kept in touch. And when she had actually quite a difficult time when she was in Africa in 2000. This would have been in 2008, and she got malaria numerous times, and she actually had to get sent home because she lost too much weight and so on. And then she ended up going back after she felt better. But then I ended up sending her a whole care package with everything to do with meditation and so on. And she really got into it. And then when she came back, she got really serious about meditation. And she meditated with our friends, some friends of ours in BC and some friends of ours on the Big Island. And then she ended up moving back to Toronto. And then I said, "Oh my goodness, you know, I've always liked Gwen," and I introduced her to this. And that's kind of a long story too, but we ended up getting betrothed and got married 8, 9 months later in June 2012. Yeah. And then had Braja in 2014.
I was just like thinking, there's something about the story that I was thinking maybe you could, you know, say something about Balakhilya, like how like what's the key to making that change possible, you know, like from going from such different backgrounds and what Jonathan has been going through, and you know, to make that change, what's what's the thing that is required, you know?
You know, for me, and it sounds like Jonathan as well, we were kind of fun seekers on the high level. I mean, we had different approaches. I wasn't a nightclub host, you know, but he was doing that to have a good time, sensual pleasures. I was surfing in Hawaii with the same motivation, really, to have the most fun I could, you know, at that time in the way that I determined was the most fun-giving activity.
Yeah.
And so we were both kind of, we weren't depressed. Like I didn't hear in Jonathan's story about, oh, I was so depressed, you know, I was contemplating suicide, and none of that. It's like I was jamming. I was on the nude beach with the chick, you know. I was like, you know, I was getting after it, and you know, it's the same kind of idea. We wanted the most pleasure we could get in the way we knew how to get it.
Yeah, because you were shaped
You know,
in different ways, in different backgrounds, and different
different
avenues
whole thing. I mean, I was years older and came from a totally different background and et cetera. But the soul is always looking for pleasure. It's no different, you know. So then, you know, we both followed our desire for pleasure, and it brought us to, you know, this whole philosophy and yoga and meditation and, you know, our spiritual master, and it all just was revealed to me, and you know, it seems very obviously so to Jonathan as well, that this is on a higher level. This is better. This is beyond what you had before, you know, and so anyone who really wants the highest pleasure, I mean, you will be given the understanding this is better. This is superior. This is all cheap. All this stuff you're pursuing is cheap. It's temporary. It's shallow. It doesn't take you anywhere, and so you can kind of see it's really not the real answer, And so when you hear these philosophies and understanding, you're not the body, this world is not your home, you're actually a spiritual personality, not a material personality. And so it makes sense. It just like rings true. And then you realize, well, you're receiving this information from a set of scriptures called the Vedic scriptures, which are absolutely authoritative. You can check it out, examine it, and there's the authority, no question about it. And then you're hearing it from a teacher, a spiritual master. And, if you're serious, you'll be understand, he knows what he's talking about. And what he's talking about is really relevant to me right now. This is what I want too. And you can see a higher pleasure, a higher goal, and a brighter future.
Yeah.
And so you just go, yeah, I'm in. That's what I did, and that's
Yeah,
what
man.
Jonathan did.
Yeah, man.
Because it's I'm. But did you always have that determination, Jonathan? Because I always seen you, known you as that. I mean, we met when we were kind of at a small mountain retreat in California, and from the start I've always like that determination. It seems like you've taken that determination and you've just like redirected it into a more appropriate direction, a more like constructive direction. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for me in my life, whenever I do something, I'm all in, and that's just the way it goes for me. And from mountain biking to meditation to real estate, I mean, I'm all in, and most importantly, meditation. So
Yeah. And if you've got that kind of character, where you're not just wishy-washy and you get taken over here and over there, or everybody just says something, you just kind of flake off and go that direction. But I'm in. Okay, so you'll be successful. I mean, look at all successful people, and they jumped in to whatever their success turned out to be.
Yeah.
You can't just be a flake and just blown by the wind every time some mood change occurs or, a new trip comes along, because you don't really get anywhere. So, Jonathan's lucky. I was all in too. I was fully 100% into what I was doing, and always was like that. And so that's a real fortunate quality to have, because some people are they're just not into anything. They're into everything, but not into anything.
Yeah.
And they're never satisfied. I mean, there's some kind of pleasure in everything you do. There's some kind of pleasure. If it's some sport, there's a pleasure in the sport itself. That's what kind of attracted you to it originally. And then there's, pleasure in getting better at it, making some advancement. And it's all some reward kind of thing. But these people that are just into everything but nothing, there's never any real reward. And you feel frustrated because I tried this, I tried that. I listened to this person, I listened to that person. And they wind up just a frustrated mess and feeling I'm a failure. So we have to, when we approach people, and if that's the way a person is, that's the way they are. We're not criticizing anybody. But we have to convince them, look, this is what you need to focus on. You got to focus on something.
Yeah.
And this is the highest focus. I mean, that's what teachers tell students. You got to focus. you know. But these kind of people that they're not really good at being students, they're not really good at social life, they're not really good at, you know, controlling their senses or, you know, taking care of their body. They're just too unstable, and so we have to try to shepherd them or tutor them or, you know, take them by the hand and say, come on, let's do this, you know. Like Gwen told Jonathan, you come in and help too.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm going to help these people tear down. Why would you do that? You're coming too. And that's what it takes sometimes, you know. Just yeah. And I'm sure Jonathan felt better about doing that, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know, it was like, yeah, this is cool.
Yeah.
It's not all about me now. It's like I'm helping somebody. And so we all need help. I mean, everybody needs help. And the spiritual master comes and tries to help you in the way you need to be helped. You know, like the physician looks at you and says, like she looked in your eyes, wow, you've got this problem and this problem. You need to work on this. And, you know, she helped him see the problems. And then he had the determination to follow through. You know. So the spiritual master sees our problems, and then he kind of gives us the formula we need to succeed or get better or, you know, restore our spiritual health, which, you know, we've lost. So, yeah, it's a very, very special event in life.
Yeah, I was just like, how did that dawn to you, Jonathan? Like, when did it really like ring true to you? Like, was there a point when you felt like this made it? Like now, like, did something happen that made that possible, that change, or was it more like gradually?
Well, the 2-week retreat, the very first 2-week retreat was a huge eye opener, wake up call, and then the following retreat that winter. Basically just having those and hearing a daily lecture every day is, you know, hearing the philosophy. And it did take me about, I would say, I don't know, about 9 months or so to fully commit. Because I remember in the first 9 months, I'd still visit my father's father, my Italian grandfather, and I would have a little bit of, you know, wine with him because that was his thing. And I thought, okay, Jesus drank wine, I can do that. And it was just a mind, you know. And then I would play, you know, Texas Hold'em with my brother and father, $20 buy-in. I'm like, oh, it's only $20, you know, the buy. and then you know, just really at that around that 9-month mark, I just fully just all in, you know, commitment, and you know, living at the guy's house, the brahmachari house, and it all together encumbrous, and just you know the association and the daily commitment, and it just fortified, you know, the path for spiritual life, really truly, with our spiritual master's direction. So, and Balakhilya's direction. I've always admired Balakhilya when I see him at the 2-week retreats that we have, and you know, how early you wake up, and I even to this day, you know, my alarm will go off. I'm like, yeah, I'm not hitting snooze, but I don't think Balakhilya would hit snooze. I'm gonna go. You know, it's time to meditate.
Okay. Good idea.
I'm not there yet. This morning I heard my alarm, and I hit it with my foot, and it fell out of the bed, and I think almost broke or something.
I also know with how busy my schedule is, if I hit snooze, things aren't going to happen. So
yeah. No, wow. I mean, that's
Snooze is a lazy man's, you know, cop out.
Yeah, no good. And even if I sleep that extra 20 minutes, you hit that snooze, I don't feel better. after that 20. Like, I don't.
Yeah. And mentally, you feel worse. Like,
Yeah,
why didn't I get
100%.
out?
100%.
You know?
Yeah,
So,
and then
yeah, it's yeah.
the no
Peop-
snooze life. Like,
Well, people, one thing we got to realize, it all sounds like some kind of magic, but what we have to realize is, the chanting and hearing the philosophy and listening to lectures of our spiritual teacher, etc., are purifying. This is the main point. It's purifying. It's not just like I did this and I did that. It's like we came in contact with a purifying agent, and the purifying agent, the holy names, the hearing the philosophy and so on, purifies us. And the more pure we become, the more we see correctly. Our intelligence becomes more guided from within, from the super soul, it's called, or the Lord in the heart, and that's what really does it. It's not like we're some special people that did anything. We're fortunate enough to be in the proximity of this purifying atmosphere, and that's what really changes everything.
yeah.
So, I want people to understand it's the purifying of the chanting and the teachings and so on that makes it so the change is what we want.
Yeah.
We have our scripture, Bhagavad Gita, and in that Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, if you will follow the regulated principles of bhakti yoga, you will develop a desire to know me. See? So all this system, you could call it, getting up early, doing the meditation with beads, which is called japa, and all of that makes it so we develop that desire. I want this. This is what I want, because we're all following our desires. Everything anybody's doing is because some desire took us there.
Yeah.
Whether it was to the rock concert, or whether it was to this beach, or whether it was to the nightclub, or whether it's to the surf, or whether it's to mountain biking. It's all about desires taking us there. So when we follow this system of bhakti yoga, then we start developing more and more a desire to engage in spiritual life, and to come to know Supreme Person and know who we are, and all those things that evolve into a very successful life.
Yeah, because a person might think hearing this, like, oh wow, I gotta start being super determined like Jonathan, and if I'm not, then I'm just gonna give up. I have to like start being determined, then I can start spiritual life. But that's not the point.
No, the point is, we're always encouraged people just chant these mantras, like our podcast last week. Whatever's in your way, whatever obstacle it is, my mind is driving me crazy. I got too much work to do. Chant anyway.
Yeah.
I don't feel very good today. Chant anyway. I'm too sleepy. Chant anyway.
That quote is.
It was
Bottom
interesting.
line.
We had a. Sorry. Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, we had a. So 16 years later, we had another vegetarian food fest in Toronto, and we didn't have one last year. And this year we were. There's only 30 vendors. Usually there's 150 vendors, but this year was only 30. And this year they were holding it inside versus outside. And we had a booth there, and we were going to cancel it because a bit of discomfort with the COVID and the variants and so on. But I said, you know what, I got double vaccinated. I felt kind of comfortable, and I said, you know what, I'm going to do it. And I just knew I had to do it. I don't know what it was, So I set up the booth, manned the booth, tore it down, told I don't know how many people about our Friday night kirtan, and meditation beads and come to our next virtual class. And it was just, I haven't done something like that in quite some time because of COVID. And it was so awesome. It was just so special, and I'm really happy I did it. But there's something told me I had to do it. And it was just, well, you guys know who told me to do it, but yeah.
and you feel so alive, like you feel really alive.
Man,
like that.
But it was so good. It was amazing. Yeah, really.
Yeah. I mean, you'll be taken in whatever way, nature's going to take you in one way, or, the spiritual guidance will take you in another way. You're going to be taken in some direction, and we're just being swept around, and let that, spiritual intelligence and guidance be the guide, and you'll come out doing wonderful things. Yeah.
And inspire others. I mean, my story with Jonathan is like, to me, you're I mean, one of the people that would really, that I'm so thankful for sharing this to me. I was kind of fresh, and I met you at this retreat in California, and I just remember that you taught me how to do this and this process and this meditation. And after, like, I went to Colombia after that, and I was there for, I guess, like 6 months, and I met you again at the Canadian at the retreat in Toronto. We had a retreat, and with Balakhilya. Yeah, you were there, Balakhilya.
Oh,
yeah,
for
you
sure.
must have been. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, of course. I remember now. Yeah. And that's when because I was doing, just kind of spontaneously, or just a little bit of meditation every day. But after that, it was the same for me. Like, I just decided, like, no, this is what I want to do, and I'm going to do this. I was, and then after that, it was really when I don't know, I got really serious about this and said, I'm finished with the previous Ruben and that lifestyle that I had. Like, I want change. I want things to really change, and I'm ready for this.
Nice.
So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so happy. I mean, and you motivated me too. I mean, you're such a kind person. I mean, really, yeah, no doubt about it. It was funny. I was mountain bike racing recently, and there was a competitor against me, who I did beat on that race. And I saw him after the race in the parking lot, and I said, we got talking, and he saw my Strava name, and my Strava is like a social media for athletes, basically, where you can show all your rides and so on. And I have a green leaf on there indicating that I'm vegetarian. And we got talking, and I said, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm a cattle farmer. I said, oh, perfect. Like, in the sense that I just kicked your butt, and you're like the cattle farming meat eater. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I saw that in the article. Like, Jonathan, it said something like, Jonathan wants to point out that he's a vegetarian biker. And I was like, yeah, you got that point in. Great.
Yeah. That's
sad and funny, but
it's such an illusion that people have, that you can't really be a strong person and be a vegetarian or a vegan. You've got to have meat. Meat is where the power is.
Yeah.
And there's so much proof, more and more, that vegetarians are on the high level of performance, in all these really, really difficult sports. And not to mention, statistically, they have less, cancers and less diabetes, and, basically no obesity, and all those common things, heart disease and all that, but just on the power level, it's obviously that this is what the human body is designed to eat, is vegetables and fruits. grains and nuts and seeds and dairy.
Yeah, if it was true, I never would have got first place and won the series. And, yeah, I mean, I got podium at every race, and I never would have got that. I mean, if that theory was true, there's no way I could have done that, right?
Right. Oh, vegetarians can't do that.
there was
probably the. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, just made me think about something, because we had a meditation class yesterday, and there was a lady who came. She's been following us for a long time online, but due to COVID, but now she dared to sort of come and meet us, and she was around 50, and one of the things she said, that what a big obstacle for her was that she thought that we looked so young. So she didn't dare to, because it was hard for her with the age difference. Like, she thought this is just some kind of young group of meditators. And then I told her that Jan and Lynn are 35, and she was like, wow, what? And then there was so I told her, maybe we should start eating more meat so that we look older. And then we were out in the forest this morning filming. That's why I was a little bit late for preparing this podcast, because we were doing some filming for a music video. We have totally amazing autumn colors. I'm gonna send you guys a video afterwards. And we met this lady in the forest, and she talked to the girls. She was like, "What are you guys doing?" She heard this buzzing sound, and she was thinking, what's happening? It was my drone. So the girls talked to her, and eventually she warmed up. She was really nice, and she said, my daughter is also doing some music, but she must be older than you. Yeah, she must be much older than you, or something, she said, and she's 25.
25.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
So she probably thought that they were 20 or something.
Oh, she's much older.
I just thought it was funny,
Yeah.
You were going to say Balakhilya?
Yeah.
Huh? What's that?
You were going to comment before Ruben had spoke. I don't know if you remember anymore.
Oh, there's, well, the movie Game Changers is one.
Yeah.
That, it's got, it's a full-length feature film of interviews and documentary accounts of all these amazing athletes and all these different disciplines that are vegans, and how successful they are in their individual sports. And but at that time, the movie was made, the strongest man on the planet was a vegan. And so, and there's a athlete, Scott Jurek is his name. He's a ultra distance runner, trail runner. And he set the record for running the Appalachian Trail in the United States, which runs from the southern tip of Georgia to the Canadian border in Maine. It's 2,200 and something miles long. And he did it in 45 days and, I don't know, some hours or whatever. And so he had the record for a while. Now somebody else has broken it. But another vegan also broke that same record,
Wow.
So they're both vegans, and 2,200 something miles. That's like 30, 40, 50 miles a day, every day, running through the mountains and through the forest and across streams, and and they're vegans.
2,000, but 2,000 miles is like 3,000 kilometers, or what? No, 3,500 kilometers.
More. Yeah, 3,200 or something probably.
Wow. Yeah.
So it's just a myth that people want to believe. It's not like they believe in it because it's true. They believe it because they want to believe it. I like to eat meat, so therefore anything that comes out from the animal industry or whatever promoting this is the best diet or whatever, they want that. That's what they latch on to. They hang on to that as proof or justification because that's what their tongue likes, But if you really want to go to a higher level of not only physical ability, but mental ability, and not only that, but spiritual realizations and clarity, then you want to hear what the vegetarian information is or the vegan information, because that's scripturally based, that's medically proven, that's environmentally the best, and on it goes.
Sure.
And you'll want that, and that will be your gravitation. You'll be convinced of that. So we get what we want, don't we?
Well, that's what I was going to say. You have to, because I
It's
guess,
like Jonathan said he'd go see his grandfather, and drank a little wine because Jesus drank wine. But, historical records prove that Jesus didn't drink wine. He drank grape juice. It was fresh grape juice. It wasn't fermented grape juice. There was no alcohol content. But because you want to drink wine, or, in your case, you wanted to please your grandpa, whatever, well, Jesus drank wine, So, we can always hear what we want to hear. So that's why when we speak these truths, a lot of people, they don't want to hear this. So they either argue against it or just don't listen, just turn it away. Just, I don't watch that podcast.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, that's what can we do? We just have to keep speaking the truth and then leave that up to people to, I guess.
Exactly. Just speak the truth, and the truth seekers will appreciate it.
Yeah, another thing in our philosophy is to not have any stimulant, right? And my mountain bike coach said, "Oh, you got to have a little bit of caffeine, before the race." And I said, "Okay, I'll give it a try." So I had a little bit of 64 milligrams of green tea extract before one of my races, and my heart rate average was 174 that race. Okay. And then I tried, then I was doing my interval training the following week, and I had 100 milligram pill of caffeine. My heart was fluttering. I felt horrible. And I couldn't even, my heart rate recovery was so bad. Then I tried 50 milligrams just to further clarify. Heart rate recovery, terrible. And then so I've been running the last 3 races, and here forward, never again, 0 caffeine, forget it. It's just people, like my coach he's taking like 400 milligrams of caffeine before a race. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
And he's serious. He's a Canadian champ. Like, he's a huge racer, and that's what most athletes are taking is caffeine. But not for me. Not for this guy. Small thing.
You follow the yoga teachings, and you'll never be wrong.
Yeah.
You'll never be wrong. You can't be wrong. But if you just start listening to this person and that person, then you'll be led into things that are not the best. I mean, that's the way it is. Most people have to have caffeine to get through the day. I mean, not competitive mountain biking. I mean, just to get up in the morning.
Yeah.
They're so physically unhealthy. They have to have it just to get up in the morning. And the mental fog and all that. It's not good human body. It's just what we produce with all the synthetics and the crap food and the GMOs and the processing and whatever, that we're just running around in a fog and physically feeling really bad. We have to be propped up with all these false stimulants to just survive.
Yeah, I remember I have a business partner, and we drive around and see our advocates, people who refer us, and we give them gifts and so on. And we'd always have a break, and she'd have to have her Starbucks, and it's like I have to pull out literally an Apple Note because she wants this in her Starbucks with the cinnamon and the la la la, and I would get caught in it, and I'd have a little, Americano or something, and I just noticed with first of all, I'd be a little schoolboy for giddy for whatever 20 minutes, and then after that, I get angry, and I got really hangry. I'd get headaches, and I just like, why am I doing this? Just forget it. I'll just stick to my chicory root or whatever.
Yeah, man. Stick to the chicory. That's right.
And then imagine being in that state all the time. It's like hyper. You're just hyper. You're just all the time, like super tense, super amped up.
Yeah.
Yeah, the yoga lifestyle, which is, the mode of goodness lifestyle, is the lifestyle that was designed by the Supreme Lord, given to humans, and this is how you should live. I mean, this will make it so your time in the material world will be as good as it can be. I mean, that's what he has given us. And it's so good, it's too good. Oh, I can't do that. That's not, I need to do all these low level things, and we pay a price. We pay a big price. Yeah. So there has to be some authority, for life in general. There has to be. I mean, there's in every division of any kind of life, there's authority. So there has to be an overall authority for the entire life and existence of every living entity. There has to be. Logically speaking, there has to be. And there is. That's the good part. There is.
Logically, there has to be there has to be a right way, or there has to be a way that it's meant to be for you to be happy. Like there's got to be somewhere.
Yeah, it has to be. And so there is. And that's what the whole Bhakti Yoga process is about, being guided in that authoritative way to achieve the highest result in life. That's what we're trying to do. And it's hard to find anybody that's perfect. We're not perfect. We, have our little, imperfections all over the place. But there's a system that we can follow, that gradually makes it so we eliminate, this and that and another thing, and we feel better as a result of it. Not only physically, not only mentally, but just inside. I feel good about this. You know how people always say, I feel good about myself, or I feel bad about myself. So this is a real way to feel good about yourself. Right, Jonathan?
No doubt about it. 100%. You got it.
Yeah, it's a nice way to be. It's a nice future and present.
And I just want to say I really appreciate all the time you've given, really and truly, especially coming to, pre-COVID, coming to our retreats, 2 weeks, 4 weeks every year. Everything you do, just thank you, bottom of my heart. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and I thank, my spiritual master who has done the same and is continuing to do the same for all of us. It's like that, that's what is done in spiritual life. Leave nobody behind. Like, Ruben's, a mountain guy, and you enter the mountain world from time to time on your bikes and so on. But the motto or the etiquette or the ironclad rule is leave nobody behind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say that's funny.
How it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you know, the spiritual masters, it's like that. Leave nobody behind. Give everybody a chance. See?
One more quick thing. I have you've been in it, Balakhilya, my 1974 Pontiac Trans Am Firebird that I have. So that was purchased prior to meditation. We're talking when I was 18 years old, and I actually just sold it on auction this year on a U.S. auction. Bring a trailer, bunch of bidders, made a record for that car, and my life changed. I mean, I'm a meditator, mountain biker. I'm not a Trans Am driver. Go to a silly, car show and pop the hood. I mean, I have no interest in any of it. And I drive the car and get that muscle car exhaust on your clothing and in your lungs. I'm just like, forget this. I'm out, and yeah. So it's the guy's going to pick it up on the 29th, and once the money clears, and yeah. Which I never thought I would ever do, to be honest. I thought I had that car forever, but no. Desires changed.
You don't have to reveal it online. You just send me a little mail about what you got for that thing.
Oh, sure, of course. Okay.
Because it was a cherry, man. It was a rare cherry. I'm telling you, this was not just another car.
I can reveal. I got 55,000 US for it.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. And which was a record for that model,
Okay.
So it was cool, really cool. Yeah, the reserve was 47,000 American, and thankfully some guys bid it up, so worked out. Yeah. Nice. I didn't make money on it, that's for sure. But what are you gonna do?
Should we?
Yeah, when we change, and values change and everything.
Yeah.
And suddenly we're
less attachments are better, right?
Yeah. So we better end it because time is basically up. Wow.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we're not finished. We're gonna have a kip down.
Oh, nice. Love it. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And the mantra is very simple, Jonathan. Gauranga Haribo.
Okay. I think I know that one.
Do the same mantra every week, just so if we have repeat listeners, they will be comfortable with this simple mantra. They don't have to learn something new. It's just like they can relax and chant.
One more quick thing I want to say. Mantras are ever sweet. It blows my mind because it doesn't matter what your best song was over the decades and da 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 da. Mantras are ever sweet. It always gets better and better and better, and there's no other sound on the planet that does that, I don't think.
Yeah, man.
You know what, Jonathan? You're right.
All right.
Haribo. Oh, Ranga 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 Haribo. 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 Oh, Ranga Haribo. Haribo. Oh, Ranga Haribo. Oh, Ranga Haribo. Oh, Ranga Haribo. Oh, Ranga Haribo.
Hari,
Haribo.
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 Oh,
Okay, so yeah, thank you very much. We thank everyone for watching.
and thank you, Jonathan, so much for joining us. This is so nice to see you again, and you know,
Likewise.
sharing your life experiences, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's
Hope I
early
didn't say
morning.
too much.
No, this is perfect. And it's early morning there. This is the only time we can make it. 6 o'clock your time in Toronto, 12 o'clock noon my time, and I guess 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock for you, Balakhilya, in the afternoon.
Well, right now it's 5 o'clock.
Yeah, yeah. It's just
Yeah. Well, it worked
amazing.
out great.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jonathan, nice to see you again after almost 2 years.
Cool. Likewise. Oh my gosh.
Please pass my best wishes and Haribo to Gwen and Braja.
Will do. Will do. Absolutely.
Yeah. And all the other friends of ours that are in Toronto there.
I'll share this video with them.
Yeah, Chris and Ron and Madhavendra, everybody.
Yeah. Cool. And I hope to see you. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was saying I hope to see you at a retreat in the future once hopefully this pandemic settles down. Who knows when, but yeah.
When they allow it to go away, my friend.
All right.
Right now, it's like, but, we'll just take it as it comes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chant anyway.
100%.
Chant anyway.
Yeah.
Thank
Ruben,
you, guys.
thank you very much. And
Thank you,
Haribo
Balakhilya.
to your big family there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Haribo to Slava. We have included everyone. Chintamani.
Yeah.
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 Thank you.
It's
So-
a big, happy family, but reality is all living entities are in one big family. So we should treat each other with respect, like, hey, this is, family. I got to treat everybody respectfully. Okay, we could go on and turn this
All
into
right.
a 2-hour show, but
Awesome.
take care, everybody. We'll see you next week, Ruben.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks to all our listeners for tuning in. Thank you. Namaste, Haribo, guys.
Namaste. Don't
Namaste.
forget to subscribe.
Yeah.